Welcome back, everybody, and today I want to play around with metallics, inks, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of texture painting as well. I do love my metallics for armor and weapons. I think it gives a much better look than non-metal metallic, and it's also very easy to apply. Now, with everything I do, I'm always practicing little tweaks, trying to learn new things to bring out the best in my miniatures, and that's what I wanted to try to do today. We're going to use a very simple metallic and ink wash method, but I'm going to twist it up a little bit, and we're going to go with thin washes rather than just one coat. We begin with Vallejo Model Air gunmetal, and then for our highlights, which we are doing before the inks, using steel for that, lightly dry brushed onto the edges. Two things here. First of all, I highly recommend the Vallejo Model Air colors for your metallics because they are made with aluminum powder, while a vast majority of your other metallics on the market use mica, and it's kind of a big material, and when you get metallics that are very goopy, that's because they have the mica in them. These are very smooth. Second thing, because of the solid material in metallic paints, they are very good for dry brushing, much better than regular paints actually. And if you ever hear anybody saying, well, I'm a professional, I don't dry brush, go ahead and dry brush your metallics. It actually works much better than layering them most of the time. Alright, on to our ink washes, and we're starting off with blue ink, and I have this thinned about 50-50 ink to water. And this first coat is going to be an overall coat. I'm going to cover up all the armor, trying not to completely flood the miniature so I still have some control about where the ink goes. And we're just going to cover everything with this light coat, and then I'm going to remove it from any areas where it pooled where I don't want it to pool. Particularly on this figure, it kind of pooled around the armor bits around the hips, so I had to make sure that those were clean. Once that was dry, second coat, same as the first in a way. You can see here I'm being a bit more precise with the application, reinforcing the blue more in the base coat and shadow regions, trying to ignore the highlights. So by using two thin coats here, we have a little bit of color transition using one color. So we have this hint of blue and then goes into a much stronger, more pronounced blue as we follow the armor into the recesses. Now my plan here was to actually use 3 coats of blue at least, maybe 4, but turns out I did not thin my ink enough. After doing the second coat, I realized my blue was already pretty intense, and I was worried about adding any more because it might turn it too blue, because I was planning on using violet next. Much like the blue, now working on violet. You can see this is again much more precisely applied, hitting the recessed areas, bringing a little bit out into the base coat. This is kind of our secondary shade. So we have our light blue going to a stronger blue, now going to violet. A quick word on inks versus paint washes. You have seen me use both on metal before. They give you two different effects. Inks allow more of the natural sheen of the metallic paint to shine through, while paint washes cover that up. If you're wondering why I choose one over the other, well, it's just based on the mood that I'm in or the effect I'm trying to get on a specific miniature. I don't have a preference of one method or the other. I always like to experiment and use different techniques and just see whatever works best or whatever I'm in the mood for. Just like with the blue, we are going to apply 2 coats of our thin violet, and you can see here this final coat really going into the deep recesses. It's almost like a dark line, and just increasing the color. Again, by applying 2 coats, it also allows us to be a bit more precise with our application. So if we screw up somewhere with one errant brush stroke on our first wash, it's not going to be that big of a problem because the ink is thinned, and we can kind of clean things up by doing 2 applications and refining wherever our colors are. Final thing is our black line pin wash, which I'm using black with a tiny bit of violet in it. It's basically pure black. This is just going in areas where the plates of the armor separate. So around the waist where the leather belt is, or between all the segments in the arm or the shoulder pads, between the shoulder pads and the chest plate. To be honest, on this particular figure, the 2 coats of violet was enough to give me a dark line between the plates. I'm including it here mainly because often I do have to do it. I just didn't have to do it on this particular miniature, and I wanted to include it rather than just not mentioning it. So you may have to do this step, you may not. More than likely you will want to do it to give a nice definition between your armor plates. That was fun and easy, wasn't it? And kind of short, so I'm going to throw on a little bit of texture painting. Texture painting, or stippling as we're going to use here, tends to be more impressive than it actually deserves to be, because it's actually easier to apply than having a smooth, seamless blend of colors. But it's a little bit of eye candy, and it's quick to do. Beginning with Game Color Evil Red, which is one of my favorite colors from the new range. That is going to be our base coat, and we are going to stipple up from that shadow coat, excuse me, not base coat. Stipple up from there, and I want you to pay attention to how I'm stippling this and what brush I'm using for the stippling. You can see here I'm starting off with a fairly big and ruinous brush, and really just stabbing the hell at the miniature, because the first coats are, well, to be honest, the least important. I want to cover up a large majority of the evil red. Now the trick with stippling is, while here at this stage I do want to cover up a whole lot, I do not want to cover up everything, because if I cover up absolutely everything, I'm going to defeat the purpose of the stippling, because the whole reason for the stippling is to give us texture on the miniature, so we want to be able to see the different layers on the miniature. If I keep stippling the same area over and over and over, I'm going to lose those colors, and we're just going to have a solid color and not the pattern that I'm trying to achieve. As we move up to our next highlight, you can see I got a little bit of a better quality brush. Stippling is a little bit lighter at this stage. Moving up into the highlight regions, aka the tops of the folds, still leaving some of that previous coat visible. As we move into the final stages, this is where the stippling pattern that you're putting on the miniatures really starts to become more important. The previous stippling that we did is kind of hidden in the recesses. The highlight stipples are going to be much more visible. So you can see I have a much smaller brush here, and my application is much more precise. By the way, great way to ruin your brushes. You never want to stab at a miniature parallel to the miniature with the tip of your brush. Is the best way to ruin brushes. So usually I have ones that are slightly too worn to use for anything else, or I get very cheap brushes to use for stippling methods like this. Last thing we're going to do is the trim, and I'm going to use texture there as well. This time just using some lines, beginning with night blue, and now I have heavy blue, and you can see I'm just doing these little horizontal lines on the miniature. Process here is fairly simple. Night blue covers everything. Heavy blue, strong bold lines across the night blue, and then the highlights will be in the highlight regions, basically on the very edge of the trim and a little bit on the bottom. This whole process probably took just about 2 minutes, so you can see why texture painting, stippling, or doing lines like this is very effective. It works very fast, and it tends to be much more eye-catching than smooth transitions. The only thing is I would be a little cautious about overusing it. I don't think you want to use it on every single part when you're painting a miniature, painting the whole thing stippled. There is such a thing as, too much of a good thing. So just reserve it for small parts. I'm using 2 different types of texture on this miniature, and I think that is sufficient. I wouldn't want to add texture in a 3rd area. And there we go, one heavily armored librarian ready for the table. 2 super easy methods for you for miniature painting. You see how well it came out. A little bit of precision painting, getting the inks into the recesses with the armor, but stippling, fairly easy. The biggest mistake with stippling is overdoing it. You want to keep it more on the subtle side, and remember, don't cover up everything with your next stippling layer. One thing I forgot to mention about the armor, in this case, when you're doing the blue, you want to overdo the blue, because remember, the violet is going to go over that and cover up a lot of the blue. So if you don't put the blue deep enough into the base coat area, you're going to lose all of it at the next step. So you kind of want to overdo it because it's going to be underdone later on. But that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned, hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Bye-bye.